Henchmen serve as our bloody punching bag that have no issue facing certain death, choosing to chase after monsters after they single-handedly mow down all of their friends. But among these courageous goons is one who begins to dream of doom, familiarizing himself with the fear of death. The Henchman is a character who is thought to represent the average mafia member. He only has one level, but is awarded a significant amount of sympathy for most of the community, mainly because of how tragic his life is. He quits the mafia, gets money, gets robbed and dumped, then is brutally murdered. If you watched one of my previous videos, you know that the sympathy is probably undeserved. I mean, come on, he says he's too soft for killing people, but goes out of his way to do something like this. But the most puzzling part about the Henchman is not the content of his character. It's the way he looks. He's brown. Why though? This might seem like a trivial matter, but I assure you it isn't. You could easily dismiss this color as a way of distinguishing this character from the other white mobsters. But if this was really the case, why also give him a brown girlfriend, huh? Something like this possibly hints at a more significant reason for the brownness. So, what is it? Why is he this color? Many have speculated that he was in the war in Hawaii. Looking back, the Russians and even the Americans have a darker complexion on this island. Perhaps the Henchman is a Hawaiian conflict veteran who now works for Sun. The problem with this answer is that it doesn't answer the question. The color Russians are is white. We only see one other Russian with a non-white complexion, and he clearly has some sort of spray tan on. Even if he went to the war and happened to get a tan in Hawaii, this tan would eventually fade, and he would once again reattain his white skin color. But this did not happen. He's still brown. So, why? Another theory is that he's Colombian, and he had betrayed the Colombian mafia some time ago, keeping his Colombian babe. But I find this to be highly unlikely. The Sun seems to have a deep resentment of Colombians, so deep he fantasizes of killing and using them as punching bags, so I find it hard to believe he'd keep a Colombian as close as he has with Henchmen. With that said, why is this color happening? On the 5th of November, Evan visits Petrov to ask questions about the Miami Maniac killings for his book. This is after he brutalizes all the mobsters in the building, but something you'll notice is a trail of water coming from this room, ending in this one. Then they're gone. Evan must have showed up shortly after this trail was made, since the water hasn't dried up yet. And because this trail ends in a room with towels in it, and there's clearly someone using this device here, my theory becomes clear. Shortly before Evan arrived, Henchman concluded his bath, walked to the sauna, had a short conversation with Petrov, then went to the towel room to dry off. He grabs a towel to keep himself covered as he makes his way to the tanning room. After this, he threw his towel here and entered a UV tanning bed. This is when Evan shows up and terrorizes the mobsters to get his answers. Henchman waits for things to calm down before he exits the bed. It is because of this moment that he feels like he's not going to last much longer and tells Sun that he's decided to quit the mafia. So the answer to why Henchman looks like this is simply a UV tanning bed. If you know anyone who doesn't know why Henchman is the wrong color, except this might be wrong, here's the issue. We see that the water trail ends after Henchman enters the towel room. Then there are no more footprints leading to the tanning beds. That implies he used a towel before heading to this room. But the fact that a water trail is here implies that he didn't have a towel available to him in the bathroom. That means he must have strutted here butt naked as he spoke to Petrov and went to this room. Now, I'm sure the Russians are good friends with each other, but I doubt they're that close. Plus, we know two things. Henchman isn't brown, and he isn't gay. He has a girlfriend, remember? So this makes the likelihood that Henchman is strutting around naked around other men very, very far-fetched. So, who actually left this trail? Remember, I said Henchman isn't gay, but he's also not brown. We established that it is possible for someone who is white to become brown via tanning bed, which means that it's possible that another character other than Henchman can be a fake brown person. Someone who is likely not a man, since we have confirmation that Russians don't really mind nudity as long as it comes from a woman. Our only options would be two people. Sharon, which would be pretty awkward, or Mary. Think about it. The Sunset Henchman has gotten pretty attached to his girlfriend. It's possible that the only reason Henchman got this tan was because girlfriend wanted him to. Or, more likely, it's possible that Mary just wanted an alibi to be around Petrov. She would have the Henchman maintain a tan along with her, so she would have an excuse to go to Petrov's place. Bringing Henchman with her confirms that she's only here to get a tan. But without his knowledge, Mary would go to Petrov's place during his working hours. In fact, it's possible that Mary is frantically looking to the side here because someone was rushed out the back door as Henchman got home. To clarify, she takes Henchman over here to maintain his tan along with her, so that way if she's ever caught at this location without him, or if she's just not at home for any reason, she can just say that she's at this location getting a tan, dismissing any implications of her unfaithful behavior. Mary is cheating on Henchman with Petrov. Not only that, it's possible that the son knew about this, hence why he told Henchman that she was too good for him, and that eventually she would come to her senses. This is possibly his way of doing his friend a favor, by hinting of Mary's disloyalty since he couldn't just straight up snitch on another Russian leader. And perhaps after considering the son's advice, is when Henchman planned on leaving his girlfriend. If you know anyone who doesn't know why Henchman is the wrong color, send them to youtube.com/@dashiaster. This is Miami in 19... Thanks again for finishing another one of my videos. Hopefully this was worth the wait. You're probably wondering where I've been all this time, and to be honest, it's a long story, but since June, I ended up falling into an old addiction called Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been addicted to this game like crazy, which freaking sucks because I'm terrible at it. But then I realized something. I can use this game to connect with you guys more often in between uploads. With that said, let me introduce my second channel. This channel is going to be where I stream most of the time. It'll be where I post my VODs. So if you want to ask me questions about Hotline Miami while I'm getting bodied at Yu-Gi-Oh!, subscribe to that channel. My first few streams will be on the main channel, but I will eventually move over to that one. So if you think you'd enjoy one of my live streams, I look forward to seeing you all there. And until then, take care.